Let's see. And now I just got to start that recording. Okay, Justin, you're good to go.
Okay, with that, I will open the Community Preservation Committee meeting of October 15th. The first item on the agenda would be the roll call. Dan, if you would, please.
Okay, Sean Wilson. Wait, and Sean might be here. Give me 1 second here. There's an attendee. Sean, it would be Sean's, yes. Okay, and then give me 1 second more.
I'll rename them.
Present.
Oh, you will? Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I got them. Yep, you're
Okay.
fast.
Okay. No, you go for it. All right. All right. So, Sean Wilson, I believe you're here.
Present.
Okay. Amanda.
Present.
Loretta. Not here at the moment. Bob LeBlanc.
Present.
Thank you. Bill Doyle. Not here. Not yet. Okay. Tom.
Present.
Yes. I'm here. Erica is not here yet. And then Justin, you're here.
I am.
Okay. All right. We do have.
With that, second item on the agenda were the minutes of the September 17th meeting, which were sent out by Julie. I trust everyone had a chance to read them. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve as noted, as presented.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
That
All
was
in
the second.
favor?
Second, Amanda.
Aye.
Yep.
Amanda, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, Eric is on. Dan,
Yep.
I don't know whether you can see it.
Yes, I got her.
I
Perfect.
just joined.
Okay,
Perfect.
okay. For those that that have the agenda, we're gonna change things around a little. The Waltham Boys and Girls Club was scheduled to go first. That's gonna be a little longer meeting. And I'm going to have the 240 Beaver Street environmental abatement and window replacement application. And I see that John Million, Mr. Million, and Crystal Philpott, Ms. Philpott are both here. Who would like to do a brief presentation?
I can get started, Justin.
Okay, go ahead, Crystal.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. So we're here tonight for the application for the environmental abatement of the administration building, greenhouses, and the corn lab, all located at the 240 Beaver Street location. This property was purchased by the city in March of 22. The city immediately hired CDW Consultants, which is an environmental company, to review the administration building, which was built in 1948, along with the corn lab and then the few deteriorating greenhouses. After receiving the environmental report from CDW, the city decided to vacate that building for safety and begin to prepare bid documents to perform the environmental abatement to preserve the building. That's kind of where my role stepped in to get the bid going. This included asbestos removal of the window glazing, caulking, and many of the floor tiles. It was determined that the windows in the building would have to be completely removed and replaced during this process. In addition, the greenhouses would have to be taken down and left for open space. The corn lab would be abated, and the goal is to then restore it in the near future. The bids were advertised with the bid opening approximately in June of this year. The project was awarded to the lowest bidder, which was American Environmental, for the abatement and demolition. The windows, the plan is to have those replaced by our contracted carpenter. John Million can speak more about the windows, but he attended multiple meetings with the Historic Commission to have them assist in the selection of the windows and approval of certain colors of what we'd be doing to replace them. He will also be proceeding with the demo delay application with them for the greenhouses. You should have received a letter of support from the Historic Committee as well.
Mhm.
And that's really all I have. And John and I are here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, any questions regarding Crystal? Hello, anybody? Okay. John, do you want to pipe in?
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple of prices. We got some prices for a Conair aluminum storefront windows and their regular windows for most of their commercial buildings. And we got prices from Harvey's commercial grade windows too. After looking over it, we decided to go with the best ones that we could, which would be the Conair 451 TCG aluminum storefront windows. They're painted finishes, glazing, 1-inch low-E glass, tempered safety glass where required, 2-inch standard frame side lights, Conair standard thermal pins, sill flashing. They have 2-part thermal head receptors, insulated spacing in the windows and jams. Going to be sealed all on the exterior. It's all a custom finish match Conair frame, lock handles, and the screens. And there's a quantity of 92 windows with like 119 complete windows, but some are like triple windows together and stuff. And they seem like a very good product. And we're going to have our vendor install them. And any other questions? That's about all I got.
Questions from the committee? And I can't,
I'm sorry?
hello?
Hello?
Yep. Questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, so I went over the application. There was a lot of it, and I just want to make sure I'm clear on a few things. Well, actually, I'm not clear on the gray building. What's happening with the gray building?
So the
We
gray
are
building
not-
was not part of this project. That was not part of the scope of this one.
Okay. Very good. So I did search up on the states on the communitypreservation.org's list of projects, and asbestos removal has been funded in historic in the past in a lot of situations. So as far as what is included, again, is that we're talking the windows in the main building. Is the floor tiles coming up, asbestos floor
Yes.
tiles?
Yes, they are. Yep.
What other asbestos is there in there?
The tiles, the window caulking,
Yeah.
the greenhouses, and the corn lab is all.
Oh, the
some-
corn. Oh, yeah. So the corn lab is being worked on in this project.
It is going to be taken down to the foundation and it's going to get rebuilt in the future. Yes.
Oh, okay. Very good. Thank you. That's that clarification. All right. And then, yeah, and then the other 4 old greenhouses, the 1, 2, 3, 4 are going away.
The
Correct.
4, yes, the 4 big ones behind the gray house.
Great.
Yes.
And nothing happening with the heat plant.
Nothing right now, no.
Okay. So
We plan on doing some new heating system for the building down the road.
okay.
Yep.
So unless I didn't read carefully enough, which can happen, I didn't see any mention of historic restrictions or conservation restriction. What are the current plans on that? So
on what?
anything that gets funded with CPA money,
Yep.
it has to be for different types of restrictions. So on the open space where as I read, the greenhouses are going away and that's going to be turned into open space. And that's how you can use open space money
Yep.
for the greenhouse removal. And on the historic front, basically, so the money spent there, you need a historic restriction that will be applied to the building property somewhere in amongst the deed of whatever. on that, and then likewise an open space conservation restriction on the land, at least the stuff that's
Let me
being
just,
worked.
let me, just to let you know, the land was sold on the open space. The land was sold open space with that from the Commonwealth to the city as in perpetuity. So that would basically cover that, I would believe.
Well, that's the question. We should double check on that with.
Well, and I read the deed today, and it's in the deed. So, however, you're right on the historic. We're going to have to figure out a historic restriction on that, for sure. Because just to let Crystal and John know, we've got to have a historic restriction on that filed with the actually in probate. It's got to be on the deed. So
Yeah. I think so.
we're gonna have to get together with, or someone's gonna have to get together with the law department to put a historic restriction on that, but that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay,
Okay, good to know. Thanks.
thank you.
Any other Bobby, Mr. LeBlanc?
I have a question for John. John, can you kind of review with us the Haffey proposal and just kind of, I see there's three different options, and I know that you went with, you didn't go with the least expensive option.
No,
Could you just kind of explain what the difference between the two windows manufacturers are, and why you think the pricing is justified?
well, the pricing, the heavier frame windows, they have the thermal locks in it, and they have the 1-inch glass, which the regular storefront windows don't have that. And the hobby vinyl windows, I'd rather go with an aluminum window instead of a vinyl window in a commercial building like that. I know historical doesn't like a vinyl window in their building. They'd rather have a metal or some sort of clad window. Yeah. The pricing, it was the base price, and he added in his cost of installing them. That's all. Okay,
Yeah.
it was the base price given to us, and he added the cost for installing them. That's all.
So the cost of installing the aluminum frame windows is $95,000 more than the Harvey vinyl commercial grade.
Yes, it is. Yep. It's a much better window.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a much better frame. It's
It
it's a
just takes the
heavier
frame.
window.
It takes that much longer to put the frames in, the aluminum frames.
It's the cost. It's the cost of the window. The aluminum frame windows. The vinyl windows are a lot cheaper.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I got you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And let me just explain how this thing breaks down.
Tommy,
Go ahead, Tom.
John, I just couldn't see the application. You're gonna remove the asbestos tile, but then what's going on for the floor? After it's removed?
Nothing right now.
So was it plywood or is it on cement? or what?
Concrete.
It's cement floor. It's all
a cement floor.
concrete. Yeah, it's all concrete.
So you're just gonna leave, are you gonna finish it or just gonna leave it for now,
Yeah.
the way it is?
Down the road when we do a fit out, that's all. Okay, this is just to get all this stuff done for us, mediation and stuff for the abatement, that's all. Okay, and then we're gonna work on the insides, and that's it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Tom.
Any other questions? Okay, let me tell you, the ask is 1,300,000. There's 799,000 for the windows, 49,576 for consultant, and 311,000 for the abatement. Now and I had questioned, the numbers didn't add up, and I spoke with the authoress of the proposal, was the mayor, and the rest is for contingency for the abatement. And she said she learned that you're gonna need a lot more just in that, in the CDW's proposal, it said 49,576 with additional cost possible. And the mayor said when she did Leary Field, it was over 100,000 over budget. So that's why the 1.3 million, just to let everybody know. Because it comes to 1,159,576,
Exactly.
and then the rest is contingency. So,
Yeah.
any other questions, comments, suggestions? Seeing none, I'd look for a motion.
I'll
I
make
will
that
make a
motion, Justin.
motion to approve the $1.3 million for the window and the asbestos abatement.
Okay, for the, okay, do I hear a second? Somebody
Second.
somebody started it. Tommy?
Yeah.
Okay, Tommy seconded it. Okay, any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Who-
The ayes have it.
Who's opposed? No
No,
opposed?
there isn't any. I didn't,
A question.
Okay.
go ahead, Bob.
When will the work start, John?
Probably as soon as we get the windows ordered and know when they're coming in, and then the abatement will be getting done, and then we'll be able to put the windows in as soon as the abatement's done.
Yeah, what's the lead time on the windows?
Oh, I would have to look into that, Bob. Okay. I don't know offhand, to be honest with you.
No problem.
Crystal, do you have any input on the abatement part?
They're ready to start as soon as we give them the go-ahead on the abatement, so they can start with the floors while we order the windows and get things moving. But
Okay.
we can look into the lead time on windows.
I'll find out.
Okay, so the motion carries. So thank you very much, folks. You're all set.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Okay, I don't know whether Waltham Boys and Girls Club are here yet, but okay, next on the agenda is the Waltham Boys and Girls Club application, continued from September 17th. Dan, Bill Doyle is here. Did you get him?
Yes, I got him. Thank you.
Okay.
And
good,
I'm
thank
here.
you.
I came in 5 minutes late.
Got you, Loretta.
I
Thank you.
apologize, Loretta. I saw you. I apologize. Okay.
No problem.
Anybody from the Boys and Girls Club here?
We are here.
Excellent.
Yes. Myself, Erica, the executive director. I have our team here, Erin Donovan, our development director,
Okay.
board representation, architects, and Antia, our preservation consultant.
All right. For any of those that may be either tuned in right now on YouTube, or for those that may see this at a later recording, the Boys and Girls Club came before us last month for $6 million to renovate historic portion of the building, which it was deemed historic by the Waltham Historic Commission. We had voted to send it out to the coalition for hopefully so they could tell us what would how it should be handled and what would be covered. And they put it right back in they said, congratulations, nice job, excited about it. But now you get to pick what is the historic part. So I actually, Julie forwarded, everybody gets Stuart's letter, I hope.
Mhm.
That was forwarded to Erica and Shantia. And I don't know whether Aaron or Jeff or anybody else was involved, but anyway, they turned it around in a hurry. So congratulations on that. Stuart's letter was extensive, so let's does everybody have a copy of the revised budget that was sent out today?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess, Erica, we'll let you and your team discuss this before we get into other. I think that makes the most sense.
Well, what we did, and yes, thank you for that, Justin, and Shantia and the team from Austin Architects, took what was deemed eligible for CPA, which was about 11 million, and we pared it down because what we heard Stuart say was that he wanted us to be very specific on what the $6 million would cover. And I know that was the question that came up at the last meeting, is what specifically would this funding cover? So that's the budget that you all see before you. Are those specific line items with how much we've allocated from the $6 million to go towards each of those CPA preservation items. And then if there's any specific questions, Shantia could probably answer those, because Stuart did hands it off to her and expressed his trust in her expertise. And we will be he also mentioned that he wants her to stay on for the duration of this project. She has graciously accepted that and has officially joined our team for the duration of this project. And that line item to cover that cost is included in our request.
Okay. And the letter states that we should have an agreement, a signed agreement, before we go any further, before it's voted on. I guess my feeling is on that. That may take some time, and we could do a contingency on that if the committee is willing. So I guess the first thing we'll do is open it up to the committee and ask for questions. Not everybody at once.
Mhm.
Dan.
No, somebody else?
Oh, who else?
Erica.
Can't see
Oh,
me.
Erica.
I actually had a question about the contract question. I wasn't sure what the purpose of that was. The signing we've never really done that for any other project. Why we would sign that before we vote.
And that,
By that,
I kind of feel the same way. It's putting the horse before the cart. We almost everything we do is contingent upon an agreement with the whoever's getting it in the city, and so that's why my thought was maybe we make that as a contingency right off the bat. But so I agree with you. I agree with you, Erica. Dan, you got to.
Yeah. So when I'm interested when you're saying make that a contingency, what as one thing, and then the second thing is maybe this is what you're talking about from Stuart's letter, is that the grant agreement should stipulate the type and frequency of reports to the CPC.
That would all be part of it. Yes, that whole portion,
So
as would the Shantia, their preservationists, that would have to be part of the agreement. So it would be kind of an all-inclusive agreement that I'm not a lawyer, Dan, and I don't play one here. So I would leave that to either the law department, or if the Boys and Girls Club wants to hasten it, they may have a lawyer on staff that they could work with, not on staff, but on the board, or they could work with our law department. This is just to make, Erica, this is just to make, kind of hasten it. That's all I'm trying to do. So that's how I would present that, Dan, to be honest with you.
Okay, so but what's going through my head is that in the motion that
would all be part of it.
Yeah, but
in the motion
explicitly though that there'd be reports back to the CPC.
That in the conservationist has to be on full time making the reports.
Oh yes,
that was mentioned in that. So that would all be part of included in the included. We could refer to it in Stuart's letter. if that's
Right.
acceptable to you. All right, any other questions, suggestions, comments?
Justin, it's
Oh,
Go
Tommy.
ahead. Oh, Tommy,
Yeah. Does the whole thing have to be done, or can it be done in stages over a period of time?
well, it's gonna be 2 million, 2 million, and 2 million. So it's gonna be 3 years at 2 million a year. So that is over time, I think, based on that.
Just a boatload of money. I mean, that's
No, it would be 2 million a year, and there would be reports coming. We've got to figure out when the reports would come in from Shantia, whether it would be monthly or bi-monthly or, depending upon how, I guess my thought is, depending upon how quickly the work goes. And it is a lot of money, but that's why it was 2, 2, and 2.
yeah. I mean, that's a big
You
project.
there, Tom?
Yeah, I'm saying that's a big project.
It is.
I don't know if we've taken one that big in my tenure.
Well,
I know
we
we bought land.
we did
was more,
Legion for
but
6.
right. That was, yeah. Okay. Okay, that was my big thought. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Dan?
I guess I'll just bring up the historic restriction that that has to be done at some point and get put into the deed. Is that something anyone's been thinking about?
Actually, the last question, the last thing, number 8 on
Right.
Stewart's thing, will a preservation restriction be placed on either the front facade or the entire building? And I guess I would ask Shantia, I guess would be I would certainly like to see it on the whole building, but the whole building isn't historic, so I'm not sure. The front facade definitely has to be. But I guess that was my question to Shantia. Is she on, Erica?
Yes.
I'm here. Hi, good evening. Well, I think it would be fair in this instance that the elevations that are visible from a public way be protected. That would protect your investment. So that would probably be 3 sides of the building, along Exchange Street, then the 2 side elevations. I think that those are the most visible public ways, and that would certainly be for the exterior. I think the minimum, and a fair scope for that easement. Erica and I have not talked. I mean, we've talked about the fact that an easement is going to be required, but we haven't really talked about the terms of the easement. But I mean, basically, the city of Waltham should be considering what do they want to see protected of that building in terms of this pretty big investment. So
Very big.
yeah, I mean, you're basically protecting your investment in the building by holding a restriction. So, I mean, I would suggest that as part of your vote, that be included, that there will be a negotiated preservation restriction agreement. And I think, at this point tonight, for the purposes of moving this forward, it probably doesn't make sense to go into too much more detail about what could be preserved, but certainly I can work with Erica to come up with what we think is a very fair scope. This is what I do. I do preservation easements. I've done them for 30 years. So we can come up with what we think is a fair scope and propose it to the city if that works for you.
Okay, now it also mentioned in Stewart's letter is oversight and with the CPC. And I am not one that knows much about construction and what's needed. So my thought is on that, and Dan, to alleviate your fears, I would want, my suggestion probably would be that the Waltham Historic and maybe the building department would work in conjunction with you, Shantia, if, and let me ask you, you're the expert, who do you generally work with?
Well, in terms of this type of project, we'll have a reporting requirement. Again, that will ebb and flow depending on where we are in the
Correct.
process, and there are gonna be fits and starts for sure. But you know, I would imagine a certain amount of reporting as we make our way through the construction document phase, because there may be changes that we need to run by. I assume you would, maybe Julie, it would probably be you, and you would then decide what you bring back to the full committee. That would be my assumption. And I think if Julie ended up having questions or the full CPC has questions, then we tap into the city of Waltham's other resources, like the building official if necessary. I mean, this is a person who will likely be involved with the architects permitting all through, so they'll be aware of what this project is as well.
But see, the building department isn't historic. That's my problem there. So,
Right.
let me just, Sean, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Sean Wilson? All right.
Yep.
What historic? How do we go about that as far as, I guess historic has got to be involved in this. And Sean, this is
So
Sean
you're
Wilson from
asking,
the historical.
right, so Justin, you're asking who on the side, the city of Waltham side is representing the historic.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry, I think I misunderstood your question. Generally, it would be your local historical commission.
Okay, and that's what I think in this case, it's going to be both historical and building. So I want to make sure we get this tied up in a motion that we get. If we're going to move it forward tonight, I want it would be my request that we get this thing everything buttoned up so you can move forward. Because if not, your next meeting is November 11th, I think it is, or 19th, I think.
19th.
So,
And I think that it would be that, you know, the CPC is requesting that the Waltham Historical Commission appoint a member to liaison with the project.
that's and I would hope it would be Sean, because he's on this, so that would be my,
That
and
makes a
if
lot of
Sean can
sense.
do it. But that would be up to the historical to start off with, but anyway. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, Justin, it's Tommy again.
Yep, go ahead.
When we did the Elm Street site,
Correct.
didn't we have some type of restriction for so
We had
many
a-
years?
Yeah, we had a clawback. That
For
was
our
a
money
that was
guaranteed? I mean,
that
what's,
was a,
what's to stop the wives here to say whoever
Well,
owns that property? from
okay,
building
let me
for
explain.
years?
That was, we gave them money with a 30-year clawback. And if he sold the property, it was like a mortgage. If he sold the
Correct.
property, he would owe X amount of dollars back to the city. This is a private, it's a private entity, but I'm pretty sure it's a 501c3, which,
That's my I'm at now. I mean, this is kind of the same thing. This is not the city of Waltham's building, and yet we're asked to give $6 million of the city of Waltham taxpayers. So is that something we can do?
oh yeah, it's definitely, it actually, if you read Stewart's letter, it's new, it's kind of groundbreaking, but it's definitely qualifies.
To do what?
Pardon?
To put something like that same type of clause that we had on Elm Street?
Oh, no, well, I don't think, we could put, I don't think they're gonna sell it. That was to protect the city
yeah.
from a quick profit by the owner of Elm Street. This is I'm looking at this as an investment for the future for the kids. That's how I'm looking. I don't think they're gonna,
But who owns?
I don't think they could sell it that easily, but we could certainly put a put a claw back in. I mean, that, but I don't see it that it's needed, to be honest with you, Tom.
I mean, what's to stop anybody from selling the property? I mean, that's,
Well, it would be the board would have to approve the sale.
the YMCA.
Pardon?
Boys and girls.
Boys and girls.
Girls Club.
Right.
The Boys and Girls Board.
The board would have to, the board would have to approve the sale of it. And I don't, we could certainly put a clawback clause in there. That's not an issue. If you think it's necessary, then we can make that part of a 30-year clawback if you so desire.
Change. Okay.
Did you hear me, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, to me, you know, things change year to year. I mean, who knows in 10 years where the Boys and Girls Club is, or where we're going to be.
All right. Well, if you want to you can certainly make that part of the motion. It's not a problem.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Is that satisfactory to you, Tom?
Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah. Thank you. Yep. Thank you.
Oh, okay, good. Anybody else? Bobby?
Yeah, so I'm just re-reviewing Stuart's letter. And, you know, he talks about the stipulation that the application be resubmitted to show the exact tasks that add up to the $6 billion CPA request. I think they did that.
Yep.
The CPC shouldn't act on the application until it is clear on paper what the $6 billion is spent on. And right now it is, well, I don't know. I don't know that has Stuart seen that breakdown that they submitted?
No, not the reason. And just to let you know, Bob, on the break, he went from that $11 million sheet. And what I was hoping he would do is he would point out what would be covered. He didn't. And now he put it on to Shantia, which she has done. And it's now the ball is basically in her court. And she's defined what she feels. And actually the soft cost is a little over $500,000 in soft cost that he said automatically are covered. So she has pointed out what is covered under the CPA and that will be applicable. And he's, in all honesty, he spoke very highly of Shantia. So
yeah, I mean, I really don't have a problem with giving the money. I just, you know, it's all CYA stuff to me. I'm also looking at his letter where it says a grant agreement with the Boys and Girls Club should be negotiated and drafted before the project is voted on by the CPC and the City Council. So we're not there yet, right?
Well, in all honesty, if we had to go to the law department to get this negotiated, it could be 2 to 3 months.
I know I don't want to delay it, but I mean,
well, that's why I suggested a contingency. It's contingent upon the money doesn't go, dime one doesn't leave the treasurer's office until that agreement is in place.
Right. So, you know, we're going to get it out. If we vote on it tonight and we vote to affirmatively tonight, we're going to get it off our plate, but the City Council won't be able to act on it until this quote unquote grant agreement is in place.
Again, a contingent, they can vote on it, but the money can't be released until the agreement is in place.
All right. I mean, I see the point, you know, I mean, so we all just lived through this Stewart healthcare thing, and nobody could have ever conceived that something that crazy would happen, which is basically what, you know, we're covering our backs for here. Okay, something like that doesn't happen. I know you said the board has to vote on it, but I mean, I hate to draw any correlation to Stewart Healthcare and the Waltham Boys and Girls Club, but it's out there. And I know that lawyers will often make those kind of comparisons. That being said, if you feel that if we feel that it's, you know, this grant agreement can be, you know, negotiated or implemented on a contingency basis, I'm ready to make a motion.
I absolutely do. I mean, in all honesty, Bob, most of the stuff we pass is contingent upon an agreement being reached. And sometimes it's not reached until well after.
Right, but we've never had, I don't think we've ever seen it in writing before. You know, I've never done it.
No, you're 100% right. You have not. And that's,
And that point was made earlier too.
any
Any other
discussion
thoughts
on
on that?
Bob's, hey, I'm only one person, but I'm not.
I know,
The-
none of us are lawyers.
Yes,
And
exactly, yes. Or preservationists for that matter.
can we get to the breakdown that was presented for the 6 million?
Sure.
So I'm going to ask again, did Stuart review this?
No.
No.
He basically in that letter, he said, basically, have your preservationists tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was hoping for much more direction one way, and he gave us a big, broad kind of.
Broad brush. I get it.
Exactly. So he's CYA in big time.
Right.
And while there's a quiet moment, I just would like to say that Justin, I worked on it, but also Jonathan and Trin of Austin Architects worked on it. It took a village, but we brought together as quickly as we could what we identify as the priority preservation projects that we believe that the CPC in Waltham will feel good about funding because they're so purely preservation. There's no
Well,
gray area.
the other thing is he did throw a big bone or a life preserver for everybody, in as much as he said the $6 million for the only historic portion, but it's got to be for capital improvement, and he defines capital improvement, and that covers a lot of territory. I don't know whether anybody read that little the italic part under number 6, but it covers a multitude of work. So in all honesty, I feel after reading that, that's the one thing that Stuart said that made me feel much more comfortable. Anybody else? Seeing
Can I
nothing.
just, oh, this is Erica.
Go
Sorry.
ahead, Erica. Yep.
One last thing for folks to consider is the preservation restriction is a, for lack of a better word, I think it's a limit on the value of the property, which is, going to not, it won't induce people to sell it for profit. At the, I can't imagine that they would realize a major value if there's a preservation restriction on the building. So I feel like that's a secondary kind of protection for us in terms of making sure that this investment is for the long term. Thank you.
Thank you. Bob, did
Yeah,
you make
Justin,
the motion? Oh, go ahead, Sean.
well, I just wanted to say, so I was actually surprised by Stuart's letter when Erica had first, come before us, however many years ago now that it was. Stuart was one of the first people I spoke to, and he's come around a lot on it since then. I maybe it's a combination of the folks that were brought in and the presentation that they've done, which has been incredible. I certainly get that it's a lot of money. I do, I'm a big fan of the project itself. I don't imagine that the boys club is ever, going to be sold or looking to go anywhere. So that's not a concern of mine. Like I said, I love the project. I get that it's a lot of money. But I think it's something that will be here for, hundreds and thousands of kids for as long as we can imagine. So I do like the project.
Okay.
Well, I would like to make the motion that we approve it with the contingency. Keep the ball moving forward.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
Second.
sure everyone is in favor of this.
And I would second that.
Okay. Bob made the motion and Sean seconded.
And I'll
Now, in that motion, we're gonna have to define what exactly how this thing is going to go.
Yeah. So I have a little wording I just wrote down. Hopefully
All
that
right, Dan,
might be helpful.
excellent. Let's hear it.
Before any funds are released, there will be a grant agreement that will stipulate type and frequency of reports to the CPC. Said reports to be done by the preservationist who is paid by CPA funds.
Okay,
Contain most of that aspect.
that covers the consultant and did you put the when it's going to be it's also to the Waltham Historic and Building Department oversight.
So reports shall go to Historic Commission and Building Department.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
And
Yeah.
I think
Well, what about the deed restriction that Tom was referring to?
And that's the next one. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, there must be a historic restriction. I keep calling it historic, but Shantia, you said preservation.
Preservation restriction.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Any particular constraints on that?
the three sides, did you say, Shantia?
I did, but I think, the wording should probably be something along the lines of to be negotiated with the, City of Waltham and the Boys and Girls Club. At a minimum, the 3 elevations outside. And there may be other, there are other terms and easements that get included. You can't add on, you can't raise it up, you can't, a variety of things. Affirmative maintenance requirement. There's a lot that goes into them. So, and CPC, the coalition, certainly has templates. I have templates. I've done tons of these. I think it really depends on what the city is expecting in terms of the scope of protection. And, you would say exterior protection for sure. You may want a little more. I mean, I just don't, at the moment, I think it's hard to say what that scope would be. Unless you have a,
Well, no,
sense of
actually,
what you want.
maybe just the preservation, Dan, preservation restriction to be negotiated between the Boys and Girls Club, the preservationist, CPC, and the city. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, that's, it should be general right now, yeah.
And that's exactly, I agree with you.
Okay. So
And then go ahead, Dan.
to be negotiated with the city between
Preservationist, the city, and
yes.
actually, the city would be, I guess that'd be historical building and CPC. That could be the city to make it easy. We don't have to designate.
It's really the 2 parties that will be signing, which is the City of Waltham and the Boys.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And
So boys and
it's
negotiated between
between the city and the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes, right. So then there's the
Well, we got to put the amount in for 6 million.
oh yes, well, right, yeah.
And then the term
Over 3 years.
2 million per year
Yeah,
over 3 years.
6 million total, 2 million per year for 3 years. And was there, what about there's the clawback thing?
I guess should the building be sold in the next 30 years, that's how long a mortgage would run, and that's the just so everybody knows where this is coming from. Generally, you get a 30-year mortgage, and it would be, we would 30 years, the money would come back at, what's the mortgage? Let's say 7% per year based on a conventional mortgage.
Whatever the verbiage we put in for Elm Street, we can use that same verbiage.
I don't remember, and I was the one that did it. But I think it was based on a 30-year mortgage. At that time, I think the rates were more like 3%, but now it's 7%. So, and again, this is overprotection, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's email offline. Oh, no, we should figure out this verbiage right now. So, that we are approving. Okay, money. So yes, should the building be sold within 30 years, money will be returned, prorated based on a 7% mortgage.
7% 30-year mortgage. You're right.
Justin, just one more thing.
Shoot.
It's Tommy.
Yep.
Can we put in there some type of a maintenance?
That's automatically gonna be in there, Tom. They've got to do that by the CPA, and Shantia mentioned that, and that would be in there.
You have
Okay.
the preservation restriction will have an affirmative maintenance clause. They all do. There's no point in having an easement like that if you don't have.
Right, you've got to make, yeah, right.
I'm on this board because I sit on the Park and Rec, and it makes me crazy when we spend all kinds of money in the parks and they're not maintained the way that we intended it to. So, thank you. Yep.
Okay, anything else to the motion? So we've got the motion by Bob and seconded by Sean. Any more discussion on it? Seeing none, I would ask for a vote. All those in favor say yay.
Aye.
Yay.
Aye.
Any any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Good job, guys.
Yep.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you.
so
Yeah.
you're all set. Take care.
Yeah, and just for the record, there was nobody in the attendees area, so nobody could have commented,
Right.
asked the question.
Okay.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the accounts. And just to let everybody know, we have $7,352,657.40 in the total. That was before tonight. Open space is $2,267,189.66. Historic is $418,035.20, and undesignated is $4,667,432.54. So that's just an update.
So actually, that brings up an issue about the funding for back to the abatement.
The money will be taken out of undesignated, but we have $418,035.20. That will be depleted, and the rest will for both the for Beaver Street and for the Boys and Girls Club, which it'll be $2 million for the Boys and Girls Club, and and
Well-
I didn't do the subtraction from 418 to 1,300,000.
Well, but
That's where it'll come.
the abatement, and I'm not looking at the application, but the abatement, Beaver Street, is open space and historical, and there is some funds there. So is there a percentage, on that?
No, open space isn't being touched.
It is.
It is,
It is.
yeah.
How is it?
The abatement has to fall under open space
For
because
the
they want to demolish buildings, the structures.
But the build, that's not being, the, what building's being demolished?
the four greenhouses.
Yeah, but that's not coming under that.
It is because
It is. Yeah.
because
Oh, it is, okay, I apologize.
yeah. So
Okay.
so I'm not sure. Where's that application?
Dan,
Yeah.
the historical commission only approved 800,000 for the windows when they sent their letter of support.
800. Okay, so 800,000 for windows. All right. So they're asking for. Wait a second.
1,000,003.
Okay. 1.3. 800K for this. Well, that's for the windows, but then the asbestos is also can come from historic too.
I don't think they approved that in their letter, though.
Okay.
Let me double check, but
Yes. Sorry for everyone that this got away from us here. Where is
Don't get any fucking trouble on John.
let's see, it just says, yeah, 1.3, let's see, attached.
Want to get your food, bud.
Still there, Dan? Are you?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just trying to find the, yeah, I'm finding the letter, award letter. It doesn't, oh, bid, yes, wait a second. So, okay, there's three different groups of things, and one of them should be the one that's for the greenhouses. There's base bids, these different base bids. Oh yeah, greenhouse 1 through 4. So that's 73,000. Is for the hold on.
All right.
This is for just now. This is just for the this is for just the asbestos part, I think. Oh yeah. Not the total. Is that the total removal though? Okay, so this is not clear. Sorry, folks.
I don't know where I read the 800,000.
I'm sorry. What was the 800?
There was somewhere noted that it was 800,000 for the windows, and that
Yeah,
was
800
historic.
799 for the window, so 799 in the abatement. The abatement include the greenhouses? The abatement was
Yes.
73,000.
The abatement for the greenhouses is 73. That and the corn lab, I
believe that's in there too.
yeah, it is, but it's right. They're taking that down, but not rebuilding it.
Correct.
So that's
they're taking the linoleum, I believe. They're abating it, but they're gonna leave it, and they're gonna redo the corn lab afterwards. It's gonna be left vacant.
okay. So that's just in the historic thing. So we're looking at then if it's the greenhouses would be 73,000.
It's fine. Let's put 75,000 out for just to give a contingency for the greenhouses.
Okay.
80,000 in the rest historic.
Yeah, 75K open space.
Correct.
Okay, the rest.
This historic, and then it's gonna come out of the undesignated anyway.
Got it, yes. Okay. All right, I got that now. Guess I'm all set with that.
All right.
Does that sound right to everybody? Sound good?
Mhm.
Yep, okay.
Good.
Okay, everybody's on board, right?
Yep.
Okay, I did the old business, the CPC accounts. The next meeting is November 19th. Any questions, suggestions, comments?
Let's see. I believe I will not be there for the next meeting.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
You'll do fine.
All right, okay, Julie.
Julie believes
Yep.
great.
I've got
All right,
this.
okay. If that's the case, I thank you all. Thank you very much. Great job. And I would look for a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, Bill, is
Second.
there a second? Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you again, folks. See you the 19th.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great. Have a good night.
Good night.
You too.
All right.
Okay.
Stop
Thanks.
recording.